two assistants, and they'll have a lot more AI agents helping them on things, and each agent will then be able to do a multiple of the work. Like that would be where this goes, and making the industry more productive. And it makes each agent, by the way, a lot more profitable, but probably the best agents win, and the second and third tier agents probably get replaced.
The question isn't, will AI replace me, and what should I think about doing with my life for the next 10 years? Should I just become a prompt engineer? It's, how do I use AI to do what I do, but do it better, faster, with more power?
You are not going to lose your job to an AI, but you're going to lose your job to someone that uses AI. So if you're a real estate agent, that means that you're going to walk into a listing appointment and someone will have already presented digitally. You've lost the job because you weren't using artificial intelligence. The good news is, because you're watching this video today, that is not going to happen to you. This is AI for real estate beginners, and we're going to teach you how to dominate your local market step by step. I'm Cedric Stewart, a nationally recognized real estate expert, and for the last 2 years, I've been embedded in the world of AI, learning directly from the biggest players in tech. And here's what I realized. No one is showing agents the whole picture. So I built this masterclass to fix that. So before we start, pause this video, hit the link in the description, and download the course workbook. You'll need it to build your roadmap today. Now, most agents get stuck before they even get started with AI because they think it means learning a dozen complicated tools, and you look like this lady over here on the left. But the good news is that's not what we're doing here. In this course, I'm going to show you how to start using AI in your real estate business this week with simple, practical tools and easy to follow strategies. If you take action, the tools and systems I'm about to show you could save you 15 to 20 hours a week, increase your lead volume by 30 to 60%, and totally shift the way you run your business. In a month from now, you'll be looking like this lady on the right side, sitting on the beach, enjoying yourself. You could have more time, more money, and a lot less stress. Once you see what's possible, there's no going back. My name is Cedric Stewart. I'm a nationally recognized real estate expert, investor, and founder of a real estate team at Keller Williams Capital Properties here in the DC area. I've been featured on over 50 news media publications, CNBC, HuffPost, The Washington Post, and more, as a trusted national voice in this space. I've spent over 21 years in this industry helping buyers, sellers, and agents grow thriving businesses, and now I'm helping them future-proof those businesses with AI. Okay? I'm talking prompt engineering. I've dug deep into this stuff, and I'm here to tell you everything that I have learned from the beginner side. But the most important thing is, I'm not here to sell you hype. And as a matter of fact, I'm not here to sell you anything for that matter. I built this free course to help you simplify AI and implement what matters and to actually get results in your real estate business. So everything I've learned over the last 2 years, I'm going to compress all the beginner modules and bring that to you in just a few hours. You don't need to feel bad or feel like you're late to the party or anything like that, because you're not. According to NAR, 40% of realtors are using generative AI, and 58% of that usage is only ChatGPT. And I mean, we'll dig into that tool a little bit later, but to help you understand what a great position you're in, just by taking this course, let's quickly get a lay of the land here. So what do we see? That 41% I mentioned isn't a legion of highly skilled AI warriors in real estate. No. Behind OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT, 20% of those agents are using Gemini. Cool. 15% of that same group, surprisingly, is using Copilot by Microsoft. And all of them are basically just writing listing descriptions, okay? They're barely scratching the surface. Some are even going a little bit deeper with content creation, but generally speaking, the real estate agent population is in the infancy of AI adoption. And as we continue to analyze the landscape, you see that in the next 7 years, the AI real estate growth market is predicted to grow to $41 billion. And speaking of the future, some of the upcoming use cases for agentic AI are said to be in marketing, pricing, think Zestimates, but possibly accurate for once, and scheduling showings, which brings us, well, back to Zillow again, because they bought Showing Time, which became a pretty dominant player in many markets for scheduling before Zillow scooped them up. Now, like many other facets of real estate, Zillow is one to watch in this new AI real estate space, but that's a much bigger conversation for a different video, okay? And the last thing on this, beyond the primary LLMs I mentioned earlier, there's an uptick in agents actively deploying AI chatbots on their websites. And about 30% of the real estate AI market share is in AI chatbots. Now, these are where we start to unlock some of the true power of the technology, because AI chatbots and chat widgets provide 24/7 engagement for qualifying leads, booking appointments across the web, text messages, social media, and They all integrate with your CRM for personalized interactions, right? I mean, they capture visitor info, automate common questions, route complex issues to humans to boost conversions, and save costs by handling multiple conversations simultaneously. Now, I mentioned ChatGPT and Gemini so far, LLMs, right? And some of you may be like, well, what is he talking about? And that's fair, because this is AI for real estate agents, a beginner's course. We're going to define those terms because it is our goal for any real estate agent to turn this on and start from scratch with AI, okay? Complete beginners. So we'll just treat this like you've never heard of these tools before or used them, and many of you may not have. So going forward, whenever we introduce a new tool in the course, we'll provide a definition to accompany it. First, we have LLMs, which stand for large language models. A large language model is an AI system trained on massive data sets of existing information, like everything on the internet, basically. That is to help it recognize and generate human language. It uses billions of subconscious instincts and rules of engagement known as its parameters, plus a special architecture to predict the most likely next word in a sequence, allowing it to perform tasks like translation, summarization, and reasoning. And they're called generative AI because they generate new content like text, code, images, and summaries. In this case, there's essentially the big three. The two I mentioned earlier, ChatGPT and Gemini, and then there's Claude. While Claude is incredible for writing and other creative endeavors, this is a beginner course, right? So you can do excellent work with ChatGPT and or Gemini, most of which for free. And for that reason, those are the two that we're going to be focusing on most. Now, ChatGPT is owned by OpenAI. It's an LLM. Gemini by Google, LLM, etc. There are more, but we'll only be using these two in this course. All right, so I'll move on. So here's how the course is going to work. I'm going to show you a simple stack of starter tools in 4 categories. Then we'll go step by step together, building simple automations with these tools that you can plug into your business immediately. I'll go through a standard path you can take, and then I'll provide an alternate path towards the end of the video or the course called Operation Domination. And that is a path that you can take if you want to become the most recognized go-to agent in your market. Okay? I'm talking about local superstar, big-time agent stuff. Now, while you can watch the full course in one sitting, feel free to stop, rewind, slow it down, and even watch it again as needed, okay? Maybe you do 1 hour a day and then a long review at the end. Do as you wish and learn at your pace. I mean, it's free. Just make sure you finish the course and take action. Don't keep the goods to yourself. Share this with a friend, send it to your broker. We want to make sure your office doesn't fall behind, right? I'm making this because I don't want to buy a house from a robot 5 years from now. Now, I understand the robots will be involved, but we still want humans in the loop, which is a term that we use in this AI landscape, humans in the loop. So here's the main goal, progress, so that you don't get stuck or freeze. We're just going to stick to maybe a dozen tools, most of which you can start using for free. That way you can put one digital foot in front of the other to move forward and make a little progress every day. If you already have a system or a different LLM or something like that, or a tool that you love in any particular category, just keep it. The system still works, okay? And by the way, I created a free workbook that goes with this course so you can follow along section by section. It is imperative that you have this resource to guide you and keep you on the right path. Check it out in the link below in the description and download your copy before we get started.
Learn how the tools work. Don't just use them, understand them. Teach your AI your voice. Train it with your tone, not ChatGPT's default, everything's amazing all the time voice.
This is ChatGPT. I'm going to take you through some of the things that you can do with this. We're going to walk through some prompts, and we're going to give you a basic foundation, as this is one of our master tools. Now, the first thing we need to do is go over some of the settings. ChatGPT is the default AI tool. When you think of AI in the world, when people say, oh yes, such and blah, 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 AI, they're usually referencing or thinking of ChatGPT. It's like what Xerox is to copying and what Coke is to soda. When people say the name, they mean the category. So that's why we're using ChatGPT first. Then we'll use Gemini, and we'll use them to perform similar tasks because they are in many ways comparable LLMs. Gemini is a great alternative, especially if you live inside the Google ecosystem. And some of the things that you're going to be doing as a realtor are going to be content ideas and scripts, follow-up messages, emails, market explanations in plain English, just really easy stuff that'll help you streamline your business and save time. So the way that you're going to get results is by what's known as a prompt. And I have some over here for you to get started. So a prompt is the input, the instructions, the questions, the data that you give to an artificial intelligence model to guide it toward generating a specific output, which is the result, the relevant and useful information, the response. And the quality depends on the inputs and the constraints. Simply put, think of it as a draft machine. You still approve it at the end. Now, we'll go through all of this, but I do want to stress that you need to get comfortable using these tools. And the best way to do that is to spend 15, 20 minutes with this every day, okay? Like 5 to 6 days a week. Even on the weekends, do some personal things inside of it. Now, I have several accounts here. This is the one that we're in today. I'm going to show you some basic stuff. So we go to settings, and then in the general settings, you'll see the system, the colors, all of this regular stuff. Now, if you download the mobile app, you can have the mobile app and have a specific voice mode that you use. And you can have a separate voice mode if you toggle this on. I want to show additional models, which I'll get to in a moment. If you are going to set it up to perform tasks for you, it can email you certain things. Again, this is a beginner's course. I'm not going to go too deep on that. But there's a lot of different ways that you can, just in the same way that you have an app can send you notifications, ChatGPT can send you notifications and help you because it can be your digital assistant. Personalization. You see I have it set to default for this particular account. I don't have any specifications as to anything about nicknames, occupation, more about me, any of that stuff. But this is where you're going to want to put as a real estate professional. You wanted to know, hey, here's my occupation, here's what I do. If you want to call me a specific name, you can do that here. And then more about me. You can tell it about your market, your years of service, everything that you specialize in as a listing agent, as a buyer's agent, you work with investors, etc. Right? You build out that entire profile and you can just talk to it and tell it, here's what I am, here's what I do. You can make a voice note or something like that and then just dump that in there and it will work with you. Then you can add custom instructions here. Something really important. Again, I'm going to stick to 101, so I'm going to skip over apps and schedules. Now this account, I don't have any sensitive information in here, but you may, if you do have sensitive information, you may want to add a pass key. You may want to add multi-factor authentication, right? You may want to get a text message, any of those kinds of things. And if you don't do any of that, at the very least, you want to make it so that, did I skip over it? I want to make sure that, go to data. Improve the model for everyone. You want to make sure this is off because if this is not on, if this is off, then it will not be sharing your information, right? It says allow your content to be used to train our models. Well, how does it do that? By having your information. So if you keep this off, then it will not be able to have access to your information, so far as we know, to be able to train. Your stuff is your stuff. If you want to share, that's fine. But I'm telling you to keep that off, all right? And again, since you're going to be doing things, if you're going to put client information, anything sensitive, be very careful with that and maybe speak to an attorney or something like that. This is not legal advice. But if you're going to do that, then establish some of these additional security parameters. All right, so that's some of that stuff. Now, every sidebar over here, this is where you start chats. You can do images and things. There are custom GPTs, which we'll get to in a moment. There are projects and then all your normal chats. Today, we're going to cover normal chats and GPTs because, again, this is a beginner's course. But if you wanted to work with something specific and keep it contained within that project and not have any of the data, because when you're working inside of here, when you're putting things in the chat, it's saving that memory. If you wanted to keep something isolated, you would click here to start a project. Okay. Again, we'll cover that in our community in a different video, but we'll get into chats here. So this is the thinking mode of 5.2. This is late January, and right now we are on ChatGPT 5.2. Now I use thinking mode for, as you can see, it says thinks for longer and better answers. If you want something quick, you use instant. If you want it to decide, you go to auto. I don't recommend using auto very much because it will give you what I'll just say is pretty much the easiest answer, right? And so now you got to fight with it and push harder and get it to give you a better response. You want the best. You deserve the best. You're doing business. You have a good life. You want the best. So you demand the best from this software, especially if you decide to upgrade to a paid plan. So go with thinking. And some people like some of the old models. GPT-4 was really popular. If you don't use 4, feel free to do your research, see if that's something that you want to do. I think 5.2 is pretty good right now, but they are legacy models here if you're interested in them. Okay. And then inside of here, you have standard and extended. This takes a long time because it's for more complex questions, as you can see. I'm going to go with standard because I don't want to hold you here all day. We have a lot to cover. And inside of here, you can add things, right? You can add your files, upload photos, pictures, etc. You can create images. You can do deep research. You can do shopping. You can establish agent mode. You can connect some other features with apps. You can do quizzes and canvases and do the web search. So you can add a web search to have it pull information, doing some RAG and things like that. Add different sources. We're not going to do too much of that today. We're going to go pretty basic today. So here, I've already generated some of these for you. Maybe I can just reference them. So I have, the first thing I want to do is, remember we're talking about prompts, right? And the first one is really basic stuff. We're going to go from messy notes to a clean marketing copy. So I have my notes right here, and then I have my prompt. So I'm just going to copy and paste my prompt. And then I'm going to hold the shift key and hit enter, because that's how you get space here. If you just hit enter, then it will run the prompt, and you don't want to do that. Copy my notes, drop that in there too. And what I want to do is, so I gave it instructions, right? I gave it the input. Act as a real estate listing marketing assistant. Create 3 separate drafts from the notes: MLS description, Instagram caption, agent to agent remarks. And then here are all my notes. I gave it some constraints as well. Constraints are important because these are the things that you don't want it to do, things that you wanted to avoid, things that you wanted to keep in mind as it generates your inputs to help you save time and get a better outcome. Here we go. So I hit enter, or I hit that little arrow to run it. And if I wanted to do it with dictation, I could hit this little arrow right here. This little microphone right here. Now, it's only been a few seconds, but as you can see, it's rolling because this thing rocks. It runs super fast. So it's turning these rough notes into usable drafts, and I gave it a role, a task, and constraints. Okay? And notice from this one set of notes, we got different results, which we call those outputs. All right? I mean, look what we did in 10 seconds. We tripled your productivity. So you just got a listing description, an Instagram caption, and agent only remarks. Now those are all good. We can use those. We can do something with those, right? Now if I want to go a step further, I have a second prompt. So if I want to rewrite the MLS description, all I got to do, again, you just want to talk to it. You tell it what to do. All right. Boom. I drop that in there. Rewrite that MLS remark section, 150 to 170 words. This is happening in seconds. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was a full-time real estate professional, I would spend maybe an hour or more sometimes on listing remarks. So if you're like me, you've just gotten back 59 minutes and 50 seconds. Okay? That's how fast this works. So now you got a whole hour, and maybe you can do something else. All right, now next, compress it for Zillow highlights, because we know they show the remarks in a certain way on Zillow. Boom. Again, just a few seconds. Now we've taken care of that process. This is stuff that used to take eons before, and now we're going to keep going. I want headlines. I want some options for my marketing copy. Option 1, 2, 3. So I asked it to give me 3 different headline options that are specific and not cliche. Boom. And then there will be times when it asks you to rate the conversation. Drop it in the chat. Do you think this is worthy of a thumbs up? We want to encourage it, so I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. Do you think you think these results are good or bad so far? Let's take a moment and read them. Bright 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo with 1,120 square feet, 2018 building. Okay, it's got all of the hot stuff. Pricing guidance, low 400s. Now that part. See, this is where I'm glad that we took a moment to read this. Now, again, this is a draft machine in many ways. You're the human in the loop. You take this. You don't just copy and drop whatever ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok or Claude or whoever gives to you, you have to make sure that you review the outputs and make changes so that it's not just, oh, AI wrote that. Oh, John just sent me something that AI wrote, because this doesn't really make a lot of sense. Pricing guidance, final listing price be concerned. So I would go in and I would make those changes on my own, right, after coming out of here. Or maybe I would know this is what it will do if I give it these notes and make some adjustments going forward. But that's a quick lesson for you, okay? All right, so we got the, other than that, it was fine, but that's what we gave it. So helpful so far. Thanks for your feedback. Last but not least, we're going to do a compliance check on this. And just drop that. Again, just dropping the prompt in there. Here's the compliance check. Nothing looks crazy, but some things can be interpreted as lifestyle targeting. Ideal for everyday living. Excellent light. See, it's just reaching for what it thinks might be a potential issue, but I think this is at your discretion. These things are fine for the most part, and it gives you some different options if you're interested in them. All right, so that was good. That's your first prompt, and you're going to have this along with all the other prompts that we're using in the workbook so that you can get some practice here and run these yourself. Make those tweaks, make those changes, talk to the system, like I said, so you can get a feel for how this works, okay? And I think we just got to be honest. Before, you would have spent time rewriting. Now you're just directing the process, right? And next we're going to do something completely different. So we're going to open up a new chat here. All right, you can do new chat right there. Brand new chat. And then we're going to work on something related to a inspection. So we just copy that right there. Bada bing, bada boom. Inspection contingency, or your real estate agent drafting a client-friendly explanation. Summarize this clause in plain English. List 5 smart questions. Draft a short email. How long would it have taken you to do this before? Now we're saving even more time by using it to draft communication and surface questions. I don't know about you, but I think this is incredible. So if you've never used this system before, or you've never used it for these purposes, let me know. Drop us a comment below, because this is the power. And this is just the surface level. Okay. This is 101. This is the kind of power you can harness with this system. So I have a plain English summary, 5 to 7 bullets. Okay. The buyer has 7 days to schedule. The buyer can cancel the contract, fill in the inspection date and deadline. Again, you have to go in, you have to make the final changes. 5 smart questions, a short email to the buyers, which you can go in and edit to your tone and your style. But look how quickly we have gotten this work done. You're saving so much time, getting so much of your life back. I'm gonna give that a thumbs up. Okay. All right. So that's another prompt. And you remember earlier when I said that you wanted to personalize, right? So what we have right here, this prompt, this is a reusable agent profile. So what you're going to do with this is you're going to save the context so that you don't have to repeat yourself in the future. This is your brand brain. One way you can use this is to assign it as your agent profile. And you can, where we were up here with the chat, you could take this prompt and you can paste it to the top of a new chat. You paste it once and then you get better outputs every day. Or you can go back into those settings and put it in there in the personalization section, right? And that will make it so that every time it does something, it does it in your voice, style, and tone. I'm going to encourage everyone to do that. So you have some homework here. Create your own agent context for the LLM to know who you are and what you like. Set some defaults, right? Take some time and fill in those blanks. That's going to be really important to you going forward. All right. Last thing we're going to do here with ChatGPT is we're going to create some custom GPTs for you. Now, I've already taken the liberty of putting these together, but I'm going to show you what the prompts look like and how you can do it for yourself. So the first one is going to be for buyer lead qualifying. This is my prompt right here. And then if I go back to my menu, explore GPTs rather, and then create custom GPTs. And just do it again. Now here is where you begin the creation process. I'll take that prompt and I'll just drop that right there. I'll hit the arrow. I've given it the instructions. Now, this is similar to a gem with Gemini, but there are some specific instructions and steps that are going to be a bit different, which you'll see when we get to Gemini gems and how that process works versus how it goes here with creating a custom GPT inside of OpenAI. It's thinking right now. Okay, I've given it all the instructions and it is in the process of creating. Once it's done, you're going to see a preview on the right side here, and then we can continue with the customization process. You see this is the create section on the left, and then we have configure here on the right side of this left panel. This allows you to be able to make certain changes and updates, and you can come in and make these after you've created it, or you can make a bunch of changes, because what you'll find is that some stuff doesn't work the way you want and you have to make tweaks, right? Because this stuff, it continues to advance. All right, I think it's almost done. And remember, this is for a buyer lead qualifier. So it's going to give us drafts for text and email replies, so that when we get buyer leads coming in, which we will have as we continue to move forward with this process, it will allow us to be able to service them quickly without having to use a bunch of our energy and brain power to come up with the same things for these recurring conversations, because you're going to have so many leads coming in as a result of using our system. Boom. All right. I set this GPT up to qualify buyer leads and produce 6 to 8 qualifying. Beautiful. Questions, text reply, matching email. Good. It's rocking and rolling. Now, because I have it in thinking mode, as you remember, you see it's in thinking mode right there. I could have used any of these other ones, right, to go a little bit faster, but I want to make sure that it is robust. So we use thinking mode. And these are all samples. This is stuff that it came up with already. So, what do you think? Here's the sticky part, because it's going to ask you questions. What do you think we should name it? My suggestion is lead nudge assistant. Does that work for you? And I'm going to say yes. Now, when you're responding to it for simple questions, you can either type out the word or you can type in Y or N. So I'm just going to type in the Y and go. Okay, so we have gotten the approved name. Now it's going to give me a nice little photo, which is great. Again, the cute little things that ChatGPT does. What kind of photo do you want? I'm going to go with playful and bold. Why not? So ChatGPT has an image generator model, or rather OpenAI has an image generator model called Sora, and it's going to use some of that image generation technology to come up with a little icon for our custom GPT here. The comparable engine for Gemini is called Nano Banana, which is absolutely incredible. Nano Banana is the leader in image generation as of the time of this recording. And quite frankly, VO3 or 3.1, their video generator is beyond match. So looking forward to getting to those. But right now we have our custom GPT for the buyer lead qualifier, and we have come up with a name, and we have come up with, or we are about to have, a nice little icon so that we can identify it on our side panel, which you saw on the left there, and have a quick reference tool to help us generate those lead responses for text and emails. Okay, so we got ChatGPT to generate this for us. We just skipped ahead a little bit because we, again, want to save you all some time. You don't have to wait for all this stuff to happen here, because it's basically building a mini app for us, right? And we have the profile picture, we have the name, all that good stuff. So now we can start to use this on the right hand side. I'm just going to type in hello. What are you working on today? Do you want help drafting an outreach message, improving lead follow-up, building a quick prospecting list, or something else? So these are all the functions that we've already pre-built as a result of that one prompt. I put one prompt in here, and now we have all of these questions to help guide us in order to getting a good response. So I would like an outreach message. You don't have to worry about capitalization or anything like that. Just type it in and keep going. Boom. All right. And if you want to use a timer, you can see how fast this is working. Cold email, short and direct. Cold email, value first, a bit longer. Whew, man. This is incredible. You start using these tools, you will not be able to be stopped. You will lead your office. LinkedIn connection note. Oh, that's wonderful. DM after connect. I might have to use some of this. Like, this is there's a few things in. All right, again, this is great. All of this is exceptional. Drop a comment if you think any of this stuff is usable, something that you might be able to include in your business right now, which I know you can, right? We have all types of follow-up here, and you can keep rolling. Polite bump, friendly. Breakup, friendly. Oh, wow. Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah. When should I close the loop? When responses have started to ghost you a little bit, when you have to make sure that you stay on top of them because, leads require follow-up. This is excellent, if you ask me. Now I can just hit create there, and then it becomes a live GPT I can use in the future. All right. So that's one. I'm going to do one more. The open house kit generator. Well, you know what? I'll do two more for you. All right. So this is our open house kit generator, because again, I want this to be comprehensive for you all. So I'm gonna go back again, create custom GPT. And then here, I'm gonna go auto because I want it to be a little bit quicker. I want you all waiting around all day. So this one is for open houses. And the prompt says, read it over here. You create an open house kit, 60-minute prep checklist, sign-in questions, 10 in parentheses, 5 conversation starters, 3 follow-up text messages, 1 Instagram post, 1 story sequence, and then we have the rules. We always want to make sure that we have rules. As you can see in our buyer lead qualifier, we had some rules there. They were no pressure, no guilt language, right? We have 1 clear CTA. CTA is a call to action. In our open house kit, we have some specific rules. Fair housing, safe language. Keep it simple for beginners. Keep text concise and human. These are important. And then I'll add this starter question. What's the property type, price point, and top 3 features? So those are going to be good to help you get the engine rolling when you're communicating. I'm going to hit answer now to speed this up, which is helpful sometimes, because I already know this is going to be a long video because it's a full course. So we want to get the most value for you all. And look at that. Now it's updating the GPT. All right. You see that little wrench there? It is making it. And we have progress. Boom. All right. Bake them into how this GPT will behave. Open house kit builder. Excellent. Now you see on this one, I don't know why I didn't do it on the last one. It usually does this. These are all starter questions on the right here in our preview. What's the price point? Create an open house kit. Right, fair housing, safe follow-up text. Give me conversation starters. So what happens is when you finish with the GPT, let me tell it. Yes, open house kit builder is a fine name. Thank you. Okay. So it needs to have a name. It needs to do the profile page. These are all the things that it feels like it needs to do, right? Which is fine. It's all cute. So there you go. Really, really adorable. So now we have our little icon there. And when you go to your panel on the left side, you'll see that little icon and the name Open House Kit Builder. So in the preview, we have the ability to test this out. These are our starter conversations. And if I just hit one of these, it's going to basically begin, and it wants to know what's the price, what's the property type, what's the top 3 features. All right. So If you tell me any of these, oh, it's all right. Default. These are fine. We'll just go with these to save time. Some of the default kind of boilerplate items that it used to start the conversation. So now it's giving us a plug and play open house kit. So now, and it's giving you full instructions. Like, this is the kind of stuff that you would have to have an assistant that you paid $60,000 to help you with, among other things, which we'll cover later. So it's created this for you. 60-minute open house prep. 60 minutes before, here's everything you should do. Now, for new agents, I know some of you are new agents, rookies. You may ask someone, hey, can I hold your house open? And they'll give you the opportunity, give you access, give you the ability to advertise and everything like that. But what do you do when you get there? What do you do leading up to the open house? Now, you can have that guidance for $0. This is how you win, okay? So I want to make sure that you have these tools because, again, we want to keep agents involved in the process. We want you to win. 60 minutes, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Beautiful. Oh, by the way, this is something that most people, no matter regardless of your experience, have. An open house sign-in set of questions. It's usually name, email, do you have an agent, phone number, really basic stuff. This gets comprehensive, and this allows you to start conversations with people when they come to your open house. And optional answers feel more welcoming. Oh, that's a nice. I'm thoroughly and consistently impressed with some of the stuff that I see from these LLMs. That's why I got into this space. So what is it saying? We want the name, the email, the phone number. You working with an agent. What caught your attention? Ideal moving timeline. See, this is stuff that you can use to help you follow up with them, which we'll get to later. Easy conversation starters. This is a full, it's basically coaching you on how to win at open houses. It even gives you the follow-up text messages. Hey, listen, you're welcome. Take this. It's in the workbook. All of this is here. You can copy and paste this prompt, and then you'll be able to use this. Whew, wow. Okay. Last but not least, I'm going to go back here to my GPTs. I'll save you a little bit of time here. So a few weeks ago, right before the new year, I was consulting with a broker owner of some real estate offices, some RE/MAX offices in Maryland. And he asked me for two things, and one of them was a tool to help agents save time with document review, because in Maryland and DC, contracts are routinely 45, 50, 60 pages. It's brutal. And so I created this custom GPT for him, and it has some different options here. Analyze the contract, analyze a buyer agency agreement, compare offers, build a timeline with all deadlines. This is the kind of stuff that you would sit there and labor over. If you have a hot property, you would have to take all of the offers and compare them against one another. We're not going to run that exercise, but you can use this custom GPT. You can upload 5, 6, 7, 10 offers here, and then it can spit out a spreadsheet with all the pros and cons, all the benefits of each of those offers. Power. Okay, this stuff would have taken you hours before. We can review a contract. I have a redacted copy of a contract, which I'm going to drop into here. Okay. And watch it go through this. Pull out the timer on your phone. Go to the clock, hit the timer button, and see how long this takes to do the thing that you would have probably taken 30 to 45 minutes to do before. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, stop. I forgot there is a little compliance section here. And this is good because it won't just blindly do things, because it wants to make sure it has the right context, right? Okay, so the exact date you want to use in the analysis. Now, I know this contract is old, so I'm just going to put a fictitious date in here. I'm going to put today's date. I want to put, let's put November 1st here. And then the state, DC. And that's all it's asking for. Once I do that, it's going to give me a full contract breakdown, risk review, client summary, timeline, and some JSON language that you all don't need to worry about right now because this is a beginner's course. Boom. Okay, so it's acting as if it is November 1st in DC. So check this out. Now I have redacted some sensitive information inside of the contract, but again, if you hit that watch, look how fast I got all of these data points on this offer. So if the client is really geeked up and they're like, what is happening? We need to talk immediately. And you don't have time for a full review, which you should still fully review the contract. Always read the documents. Always read the documents. Always read the documents. But if you need a quick brief because you don't have an assistant that you're paying $60,000+ a year, guess what? Contract type, property, buyer, seller. Again, this is redacted. Offer price, financing, agent. All of this happened in seconds. Okay? This is the power that we can harness here. Use this in your business. Everything you see here is because we programmed this thing to make sure that it gave us everything that we would have taken close to an hour to get before. Look at this. Unusual non-standard clauses. Now I put this one in here because this one contains some foolishness. Buyer intent disclosure. Buyer may renovate, resell, rent, or assign profit, or may market property prior to closing. Full assignability override. Buyer pays all closing costs. As is leaning structure. Okay, so these are some things to be aware of. And then there's a risk review. High risk. Assignment and marketing clause. So basically, we received an offer where, if you can believe it, the agent was going to try to assign their interest in the property. They didn't even want to buy the property. Conversation for another day. And if we hadn't been astute, if you've never seen this before as a rookie agent, you might miss this, have your seller sign, and then be on the hook working with a wholesaler when that wasn't your intent, and put the seller in a bad position. When you have a tool like this, it saves you because there's a lot of liability for you and your broker that you would have to incur if you weren't able to catch that. Moderate risk, short inspection window, right? Earnest money, low risk, client email summary. So then it drafts an email for you. Here's a clear summary of your DC contract and what matters most. Again, rewrite that in your own words. Key points. Here are all the key points. Main risk to be aware of. Incredible. This is how you protect yourself. This is how you stand out from other agents and you beat them and move faster so that you can do more deals per month. Okay? Timeline, open items, and then there's the JSON stuff. Whew. And then it gives you some additional options. So this is the power that we have. Those are custom GPTs. I want this for you all. Please, please, please download the workbook so that you can be able to use these prompts and get these tools to use for yourself. There's custom GPTs and then there's gems inside of Gemini. They're nearly the same. They are personalized AI models of each LLM. Custom GPT is built for ChatGPT. It can be fine-tuned, as you saw before. It's like a mini app. You feed it what's known as a knowledge base, which is basically any data, context, those prompts that we used earlier, instructions that you want it to have. And by doing so, you can ensure that it responds correctly. And that will allow you to get a more accurate, more powerful, specific performance worker bee inside of ChatGPT. That's what we just did. I think you'll all agree with me. Drop a comment in the chat. That last example of the contract review was extremely powerful. In contrast, a gem is built with inside of Google's Gemini ecosystem and designed specifically for tasks inside of the Google ecosystem. And it can do many of the same things as a custom GPT, but a gem has access to all of your Google account information, right? So it has all of these custom workflows and things and rules and buttons starters that you can use so that you don't have to really begin pasting prompts here. It's built for private use, full integration, and they have their specific use cases. I think they're both really great. I use both of them. I will bring things from one to the other and compare them. So the prompts that we use today, I would say run them in ChatGPT and run them in Gemini. Build those custom GPTs and those gems. Take those prompts and run them interchangeably to see what kind of responses you get, because sometimes you may like something from one a little bit better than the other. All right. That's a pro tip for you. But again, they're interchangeable. You can use either one, whichever way that you want. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get into Gemini. This is the one that is brought to us by Google. Again, an LLM, very powerful. Let's get into that. All right, so this is the home screen for Gemini. And I do have a paid account that I'm using here. I have several accounts, but again, you can perform a lot of functions with the free account. This is the home screen. When you come to it, you already have it if you have Gmail, but the level depends on what you're doing with your work suite, paid, free, what have you. All right, so just like the legacy models with ChatGPT, you have Fast, Thinking, and Pro. If you are using a free account, you'll be limited to Fast, and maybe you'll have Thinking. You can get a lot of stuff done with those modes, so don't worry about that right now. We just want to get familiar with the platform and start getting some stuff done. I do want to point out that you have settings here on the left side. You also have an expanded menu where you can do different things. You have the chats, you have gems, and we're going to get into those a little bit later. That's a bunch of chats that I have inside of this particular account. Now, settings here. If you go to settings and apps, this is where you can turn on all of your Google Workspace accounts, and this is going to be great for you so that you can easily plug in, utilize, access, and reference all of the different Google Suite apps and tools that you have. As I mentioned earlier, the difference between gems, the difference between Gemini and ChatGPT. You'd have to go in and do a connection process for that with ChatGPT, whereas here, all you got to do is toggle this to blue. And now all of these are into Gemini. So if I want to start a new chat, I can just hit at, you see, and they just pop up right there, at connected apps, calendar, keep. And from here you can, boom, hit the Gmail. And then it can go through and access your email. It can see what kind of meetings you have coming up. It can see what replies you need to address, see what's in your inbox. It can create a schedule for you. All these things can happen just by being a part of this suite of tools. And if you hit the little Gemini icon here inside of any of those tools, you can also access it that way, because Gemini is already baked into your Google account software now. Down here you have create images with Nano Banana, as I mentioned earlier. These are just prompts to help you get started. Write anything, boost my day, help me learn, right? If you hit that microphone, you can speak into it, just like you see how similar it is to ChatGPT. And then we have the tools, deep research, same thing. If you want to create videos with VO 3.1, which is the newest version as of January of 2026, extremely powerful. We'll get into that a little bit later. Images, again, with Nano Banana. Canvas, we'll do that very soon. And then guided learning. And again, same thing here. You can upload files, but the difference here, you natively have the ability to use Drive because of the fact that this is a Google Suite product. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do some prompts. And the first one is going to be a Twilight photography prompt. Now, Twilight photos get 76% more clicks. So if you don't have a budget for a professional sunset photo shoot, we can use this little lifestyle filler for photos on our brochures and elevate the engagement and the clicks that we get on our content, which is very important if you're out here trying to sell a property. Sellers want to know that you are doing everything to market their homes. So this kind of stuff is important. When you walk into a listing presentation, you can say, hey, look what I can do for you. And this is a nice photo right here. So check that out. That happened in about 10 seconds, again, as we have seen. So I said, professional Twilight photo of spacious suburban backyard, stone fireplace, soft orange glow, elegant string lights hanging from a mature oak tree. It did that in 10 seconds. You can take that and use that for advertising. You can do polls. What would you do in this backyard? What changes would you make? What color would you paint this? All of these different things that you can do to boost engagement and continue to let people know that you are the go-to real estate agent in your area. So that's just one thing you can do in just a few seconds with a prompt inside of Gemini. And I also encourage you to run that in ChatGPT separately, see what happens. All right, so that's one prompt. You'll have access to that when you download the workbook from the link in the description here. Next, we're going to do this email prompt. All right, we're moving smooth now. All right, so we're starting up a new chat here. We hit that little button. And then we have the panic email from a seller. If you have sold real estate for any length of time, you know how this goes. So you can also do this from inside your email because, again, it has access to your email, right? So we're doing it from Gemini right now, but you can do it natively inside of the reply bar in your emails, which you'll see now. It'll say, help me write. But here I posted that, or rather I dropped that into the email, and then I'm saying, help me write, which is my main prompt. So I provided the email below. I'm going to hit shift a couple times and move it down, and then go here. And I don't need the quotations here. Help me write. Draft a calm professional email to calm this lady down is basically what I'm saying. Hit enter and go. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Maybe it took 15 seconds. And now I have 3 options for a reply. Okay. So again, I could have done this in the Gmail reply window and click the Gemini icon, or I could do it here inside of Gemini. So as you can see, Gemini takes the emotional weight out of difficult emails, right? It's letting us provide elite service even when you're busy. So I completely understand the anxiety. We're actually seeing very high digital engagement right now. My recommendation, I would add my professional recommendation. That's one. Then you have a data focused one if she's a high C or a high S or a C on the disc profile, one of those two. If she likes numbers and logic. Hello. I see the price. We're only 12 hours in. Let's stick to the plan. Initial data shows our digital engagement is strong, right? That's the second one, short and direct. Best for a quick mobile reply. Don't worry. I don't know about the exclamation point there. It depends on the relationship, right? And then it asks if you want specific digital engagement stats from Zillow. You can also ask it to give me a quick text to send. This is something that you would have been freaking out over, trying to stop everything that you're doing to make sure that you don't lose this lady because the house just went on the market and she's freaking out. But with Gemini, what would have taken you 20 minutes takes you 20 seconds. Now you have 2 options for text messages if she sent this via text. I totally understand the nerves, but 12 hours is very early. And I draft a follow-up email for Sunday evening in case you need it ready to go after the open house. This is power. I can't say it enough. Oh boy, I'm so happy for you all to have these tools here because we need you in the market now. So no matter what LLM you choose, it's the same concept. Prompts in, drafts out. Use whichever feels the best, okay? And next we're going to do a gem. So we've done 2 prompts here. You have a pretty good idea of how this works. Now we're going to go into this menu on the left, and we're going to click gems, and we're going to create a new gem here. All right. And so you just hit gems, and these are some default gems that they have here. You can hit show more and expand those to see what's available. And then it gives an explanation of what gems are doing. I'm just going to hit new gem. And check this out. Unlike ChatGPT, you are required to name it yourself. So Google drawing their line in the sand right there. Okay. Boom. So we're going to put the name there. Okay. Now we have a name. And then the instructions are to be a neighborhood storyteller. All right. Or excuse me, that's the description. You are a neighborhood storyteller. And then I want to add some instructions. Critical rules for the neighborhood storyteller. There. Goes in the instructions section. And then I'm just going to, and if I had some additional information about what I wanted a neighborhood storyteller to do, I could attach files here and give it that additional context, right? Because it's only as good as what you put into it. Okay. So now we have some information here and the preview pops up right there. And let's give it a little bit of context. I always like to just say hello and see what it does. Hello. All right, screen is acting a little wonky here. Hi, I'm ready to help you tell the story of your next listing. I specialize in All right, yes, I know. I have to hit save. Thank you. I specialize in crafting property descriptions that don't feel like just a list of features. Fair housing compliant, platform optimized, MLS. Okay, great. You are currently based in Germantown, Maryland. Interesting. Okay. It thinks that I'm in Germantown for some reason. That's fine. All right, ready to begin? So guess what we're going to do? We have our prompts here. We got that list of messy notes. I can just take those because we want to get familiar with the platform, right? So I'm just going to drop those in here. Boom. What can you do with that? Neighborhood storyteller. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. My count is probably off. Drop a comment. Let me know how bad my count is here. But it's working fast, okay? So you have marketing descriptions polished and ready to go. Since I don't have the exact city, I focus on the urban commuter vibe. Impressive. All right, so welcome home to this sun-drenched corner unit offering 1,100 square feet. That's nice. And then what you want to do is, see, it wrote something that's a little bit different. So this is similar to a custom GPT, where this is just a listing description engine. Again, the only thing that agents are really using these softwares for. So we want to give you a good framework to start and elevate that a little bit. We have an Instagram version, right? Corner unit, glow up, okay, with the little emojis and everything. The money flying, okay? Location, highlights, chef's kiss kitchen. That's cute. Garage space included, okay? Showing start Friday. DM for it. It added hashtags and everything. Now you don't have any excuse not to be able to post. And it says, what would you like me to do next? And it gives you some options for things that you can do next. So if I like that and I want to continue with it, then I hit save. And now I have this tool ready to deploy whenever I have a new listing. And I can take this in to a listing appointment, right? With the listing already baked in and say, hey, listen, here's what I did for you. This is just the start of it, because you want to be ahead of the game and show these people that you are using technology to help market their home. Sellers want to know what you're doing to market my property. Now you have more tools in your arsenal. All right, so that's a custom gem, or rather a gem. So next we have Notebook LM. So this is the homepage for Notebook LM. This might be my favorite AI tool outside of ChatGPT. I think they may be tied. Such an incredible piece of software. I could do probably a 3-hour video just on Notebook LM, but I don't want to hold you all day. So here's what we're going to do. This is going to be the HOA detective, because now we've got the master tools out of the way. And maybe Notebook LM should be a master tool, honestly. But we have the words and ideas machines. Now we're going to get familiar with our research assistant and creative design partner, okay? So what we're doing is we are going to use this script to put us in a position to have Notebook LM save us even more time. Now, this is a different way that you can do what we just did with that contract earlier, okay? Because if you've ever had a deal and you have had to work with HOA documents or condo documents, you know how tedious that is and how labor intensive it is to read through all those documents. So what Notebook LM does is it combs through all of the data, and it allows you to search and pull out relevant information. It can give you different types of outputs to have an idea of the things that you need to be able to reference as it relates to these documents. You can get an audio overview. You can get a video overview. Okay. You can get a mind map based on your information. And in the free account, you can upload 50 sources here. So your sources are on the left here, right? So you can also, in addition to sources that you upload, you can get sources from the web, and you can upload from Google Drive, right? You can search, do deep research or fast research. These are all of the tools, because again, this is your research and content creation assistant. You go up here to add sources. This brings you back to the main screen. You can share your notebooks here, right? And then you have your settings, of course, over here. You can get reports. You can do flashcards to help you remember it. You can create quizzes, infographics, slides, and data tables. So Notebook LM is going to help you comb through the mess and honestly just save you even more time than you already have from using those master tools that we talked about before. So we're waiting for the condo documents resale package to upload. Now, sometimes I've noticed that it's doing this for a while. It may be up. I'm just going to hit refresh here. There you go. So it's in there. All right. So resale package, it's in there. All right. Now, and this is just a brief summary of what we have. Now I'm gonna give it 2 prompts to get started. The first one is I do this instead of sitting there reading 170 pages worth of documents, right? And this is kind of silly. Does this HOA allow non-traditional pets like a miniature pot-bellied pig? It's a real question. Somebody might want to know. All right. So now it's searching through my documents. Okay. And it's already named it automatically. Reviewing the pet policies. This is something that you would have to do yourself or have your $60,000+ virtual or live assistant do for you. Formulating a conclusion based on the sources provided. The HOA does not explicitly ban specific types of animals such as miniature pot-bellied pigs. However, the ownership is subject to local laws. And check this out. It's going to cite the sections. All right. And it comes out a little funny when it's referencing PDFs. I think they'll change that. But it's going to cite the section in the document where it found certain bits of information. Right. It does that automatically. The resident information sheet provided by the management company only asks residents to list cats or dogs. And it cites that as well. So there you go. That's the information sheet that it's talking about. And then it gives you some additional questions that you can prompt it to ask if you want to know more. If you want to save this note, you can save it, and then it'll be right here. And now you have the HOA livestock note that you can use later. And here, if you hit the dots, you can convert this note to a source, which you can use. Then it slides over here, and then you can use it as a reference point later. You can also export it to a Google document or export it to a Google Sheet or just get rid of it altogether. All right. So we're going to do one more prompt here just to show you what we're working with. I think you get the idea. Are there any restrictions on front door colors, specifically sunset terracotta? Now it's reading through all of the pages once again, and it's always going to be faster than you. So if you need to speak with the client, well, now you can stop scrolling through 50, 70, 150 page PDFs, right? Just ask the document a question directly. According to the bylaws, no owner shall paint or alter the exterior of the building or a unit, including the doors and windows. And it cites the section where you find that. So it has reference points. It's not just making things up. We talk about, when you hear people talk about AI tools, master tools, the LLMs, it says that they hallucinate, which means that they come up with false information or say things are a little bit wonky. And there are things that you can do to help prevent that, which again, this is a beginner course. We don't really need to get into that. We can be very specific, make sure that we're reading everything to get the kind of results that we want. I would say, just as a general rule, if you want for every prompt, just to be super safe, you can just include, for instance, again, one-on-one, I would put here, don't hallucinate, right? And then I would just put that at the end of each and every prompt if you really think that's a genuine concern. But you are the backstop. You are always going to read and proof anything that the LLM spits out. The reason why I bring that up is because it is giving you the specific section of the document where it is obtaining this information. Nothing is made up. Oh, yes, here's the answer that you wanted, sir, and I got it from here. Here's the answer that you wanted, and it's based on this information right here, right? So after today, when you talk to a seller, a buyer, any client, you're very busy, and they're like, oh my God, did you have a chance to read such and such? You're showing up sharp, fully briefed, and up to speed at every appointment, meeting, phone call, etc. No matter how many clients, offers, or documents you have, because now you have Notebook LM, this AI assistant that can retrieve and fully summarize anything in seconds. Studies show that an agent who does 2 deals per month has to read and review 300 hours. 300 hours, the equivalent of 12 and a half days of documents per year. Well, I just gave you back 12 and a half hours of your life. Okay. So I think now would be a good time to pause the video, like, share, and subscribe. This is nothing but power in your hands. Please use it responsibly. So we're going through the prompts now. That's Notebook LM. That's something that we can do with it. I have something else this is going to blow you away. All right, so now we're moving on to presentations, graphics, etc. Our next set of tools. And our stack is going to be Notebook LM and Gemini. Now you may hear people talking about Gamma. We're not going to deal with that today because again, we want to use free, easy to access tools. We're going to stick with these two. You can also use Google Vids and or Canva. Right now, we're going to use Gemini and Notebook LM. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Now, Gemini is the fastest way to go from text to a polished PDF or slide deck. So I'm going to go back here to a new chat. Yes, I'm going to close without saving. Now, what I'm about to show you is perfect for lead magnets and listing presentations. I was originally going to teach you Gamma, but again, we want to keep your costs low. All right, so check this out. I have these prompts here that I'm going to use, and it's going to allow me to create a stunning listing presentation for you. I can just take you through what we ended up creating out of this. I'm going to go to my other account. So what we did, I said, act as a high-end real estate marketing consultant, review the provided website data and extract the following elements to build a listing presentation deck. Format the output as a clean bulleted list that I can copy into a creative brief. And that gave me, so that's what I put into Notebook LM. And again, I put that in our window at the beginning here. So I uploaded the source, and this time the source was a website. So I went, uploaded a website, right? And then after I added that source, then I put that prompt right here. From there, what it gave back to me was all of this information from Notebook LM. So I pasted the output from Notebook LM as shown here. And I'm just fast forwarding because this takes time to create. I want to save you all because we have a lot more to cover. So it gave me a unique value proposition, mission statement. This is something that I use from an agent that I know that I've worked with, a good buddy of mine, great guy. Proof points. This is everything from this excellent agent's website. It pulled all this information, visual cues, all this stuff that it pulled from his website. And then I took that and I gave it to Gemini. The prompt for Gemini is, I'm going to provide you with a raw brand brief. I want you to open a technical document in Canvas to create a slide presentation script and layout. All right. So it did all of that. Here's the brand info from the website. And right there, after the colon, that's where you put the website information and then the rest of the prompt. Okay. So this is like the morning show where we show you the before and after. So that's the full brief right there. Information, everything I just read to you, right? All the data points. And I hit enter. This is all the thinking that it did, grasping the scope. That's everything it did. And then it generated the real estate listing presentation. Your real estate presentation is ready. So here's the result. This is for someone at Keller Williams. And this is a bunch of sample images it's going to put in here. Obviously, you can go in and change those. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. So, boom. It basically took 3 minutes to come up with this listing presentation. And if you're a brand new agent and you don't have a listing presentation, this is something that you can use to get started and come in and be able to speak to a seller. Brand identity, the GPS analog. This is all stuff that's getting started. You can change these photos, right? Precision information. This is based on this. All I did was give Notebook LM the link to a website, and it gave me all the information about proactive versus passive outreach to buyers. All this information, the seller's journey, this all came from 2 prompts, right? And where the areas of work, the agent's stats, all this relevant information. Let's get started. So, and then at the end here, you're going to have questions, and then it has some boilerplate information right there. And then it's always going to include its sources for where it pulled images and things from. Now, I know you're like, well, I can't use all of that. You know, how do I get my information in there? All you got to do is hit this button right here, export the slides. You could download it, but you want to export the slides so that you will be able to make the edits. And then you go into Google Slides and you make all the edits that you want to customize it and make it yours. So again, starting with Notebook LM, you grab your website info and all your listing presentation assets, and then you follow the steps from there. We will include these prompts for you so that you can be able to do this on your own. When you're building these presentations, your goal isn't to make something fancy. Your goal is to make something useful, okay? Open it right here, pop up, and here are the slides, and you can get started. Strategic listing presentation. There it is. And so inside of here, now I have all of the slides, and I can go in here and I can make changes. If you've ever used Google Slides before, you know how this works. Similar to PowerPoint or even Canva. Speaking of Canva, we'll move on to that one next. So I can go in, I can change the photos here. You see, replace image. It's super easy, right? So speaking of which, Canva. If you're already using Canva, you know you can do the same thing in here, right? Templates, brand colors, quick edits. Canva's probably familiar to you, you know, even if you're a beginner. So you can also use that you will go to presentations here and start working on something. They have different templates that you can use if you want to. I'm not going to do a full Canva presentation. I think Canva's been around for a pretty long time, and folks know their way around Canva for the most part. If you need some help with Canva, drop a comment here. That's something we can cover in our community, but this is an alternative. The method I just showed you is a lot quicker, so I would go with that. But if you want, you can use Canva. You can describe your design here and then use AI to help you come up with something, or you can go to some layouts, all these different designs right here. You can tell it what you're looking to do and it can help you there. All right, so Canva's pretty cool. And then next is going to be Google Vids. Now, for my money, which is free here, Google Vids, man, I love it. Google Vids is great when you want a simple, fast video asset based deck without becoming an editor. So my recommendation is, if you want some really cool stuff, some real fun stuff, set aside 2 hours to create a presentation in Google Vids just once, okay? Just so you can say you did it. And when you come here, it's not Vids, but if you go to Google, you type in Google Vids and it will pop up. And then you just start here. This is your main menu. And this is like all your Google stuff. You see it says Vids here, but it says videos at the top. So this is the home page. I'm just going to click here to create a new video. And I have some options. I can do landscape for traditional presentation style. I can do square. I can also do portrait, right? The styles are limited there. So that's going to give me videos. You can record yourself or you can upload some stuff. This is good for social media because of that orientation. I'll go back here. VO AI avatar. So you can write a script and choose one of these faces of robots and have it generate a video where it says those words for you. You can take those slides that we just created and have it turn it into a video with AI generated voiceovers. You can record yourself, upload, you can use a template, or you can use a storyboard where you can talk to it. So the templates are pretty decent. And inside of there, you can go in and make some changes and customize it the way that you want. You can also go blank. We're just going to real quick. I've been teasing this VO3 thing. So we're just going to get a little video going with VO3 real quick. These are different types of videos that you can create. So what do we want? A photo. This is just a sample, not something that will be in the workbook because we're just messing around. Photorealistic video of a female real estate agent showing new homes to a couple in California. All right. And it's in landscape mode by default. You can change the aspect ratio there to portrait if you want. And we're just going to hit generate. And then it shows you how long it's going to take to come up with that. Now what you can do is once it's ready, you can plug this in to your presentation, starting with this section right here. And if you were using a template, you could swap it into a template. Again, you want to take a couple hours here. These are not fast, but they can be really fun because you have a certain number of essentially free VO3 videos that you can generate per day. And if you get good at prompting VO3, you can create some really cool stuff. That was not a great prompt, just something that I did on the fly, just so that you can see what is possible with VO3. But there's all kinds of, and they're leading with video, as you can see. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens here. If I just scroll over it, the 8 seconds is the max that you can get with one of these right now. All I have to do is hover over it and it'll start playing. But
this takes us into the main living space. Notice the 12-foot ceilings.
And the view from the patio is included.
Absolutely, it's stunning year-round. And this takes us...
That's a video. 8 seconds. We just created that in like a minute. Okay?
This takes us into the main living space. Notice the 12... And this takes us into the main living space. Notice the 12-foot ceilings.
And the view from the patio is included.
Absolutely.
So I hit insert, and now this is a part of my presentation, and I can just keep going. So I press the plus button, and now there's a transition there I can add, and now I go from this one to my next one, and I can just keep going. And you can create something really cool that you can use for social media, drafts of presentations. When you're speaking to buyers and sellers, you can show the home buying process. I mean, the use cases are endless here. All right, so that's VO3. I just want to make sure that you know about that. I would definitely consider using it to create something useful like a guide for buying or selling, or buying then selling, or vice versa. And the fun comes in the ability to use these tools like VO3. And also, if you hit image here, that's where you will find, once again, Nano Banana. Now you can create content and lead magnets, but next, where do the leads go, right? So what we've done here is we have created a simple CRM for real estate agents. You see, this is a course copy, and this is what's known as Notion, right? Notion is an incredible platform. I'm not going to do a whole walkthrough of Notion because Notion is really crazy and robust. You could get lost in here. We've already created this for you. We'll make sure that we get this to you. There will either be a link in the workbook, the free workbook download, or we'll just drop a link at the bottom of the YouTube video here. All right, because you're most likely watching this on YouTube, and then maybe in the email confirmation you'll get it. So I'm going to recommend, as a simple CRM, Notion or Google Sheets plus Google Forms, whichever you want to do. All right, your CRM is at the beginning, just a lead inbox. We're not building a complicated system. We're not doing any texting through your CRM in this course, just keeping it simple. The simplest way to do it is with Google Sheets. This is a bit more robust here, but I love it so much. You know, it's AI powered that I wanted to give this to you all as a gift. But if you do it in Google Sheets, you're going to do name, phone number, email, source, status, next follow-up. Real simple. If you don't do that way, then you can use this Notion. Notion is the same thing, but it's a nicer feeling dashboard. Okay. Now, Notion isn't an automation tool in this course. Notion is again, your lead inbox. It's where you track who to follow up with, so leads don't disappear. Simple as that. So if you're new, you're going to add leads manually. Okay, that's fine, because the goal isn't a fancy system. The goal is consistent follow-up. Now, I've already been messing around with this, and so you'll see I have some actions and things in here. And later, if you want, you can connect forms to this so leads auto-populate. But today, we're keeping it simple. If you like it, use it. If not, use Google Sheets. Okay, so let me just tell you what you have here. You have a simple dashboard. You can do notes. You can do list, right? You can create different lists. You have these different names of all the people that you need to follow up with. If you hit new, you can make a new page, right? You can add a new contact. You can add a new status. I don't need that, so I'm going to close it. But that's where you would put that if you don't want to keep it, you right click it and you delete it. I have active and pending clients here. And if you notice, you see some red marks here. Bob Johnson and Ryan Coogler. These are existing contacts that I have in here. All of my contacts are at the bottom, right? And if you notice this, what is happening right here? In my inbox, it says, hey, you were supposed to follow up with Bob Johnson on the 16th. You're supposed to follow up with Ryan Coogler on the 12th. So it's not going to let you forget because you put a status associated with them, right? So when I click, he's a buyer and a seller. This is all made up. And last activity was this date. You have to put notes. You have to put information beside them to make sure that you stay on task. You cannot win at selling if you're not tracking this information. So any of your individuals in your database, you just put the correct tag beside them. What if they're a seller, if they're a buyer and seller, if they're a buyer, right? Then they will go into your pipeline here if they're active. I have people from my sphere of influence, right? So they're not a seller or a buyer, okay? And then I have some additional people in here, and then I have my calendar. So you can connect your calendar from Google or Apple or wherever you want to go from. And then there's some additional pages that you can add here. So if you click that, you can manage inside of your connected calendar and you can add new things there. But really what you just want to stick to is new. It's where you come in, and this is where you put a new lead, the status, the type, the phone, the name, if they have a partner, their information, pets, triggers, next follow-up. You cannot leave without putting that in. GCI, how much you think you're going to make, because you need to be able to track information in your pipeline because you're in sales. So you need to know what's in your sales pipeline, right? All right, so that's Notion, and you'll have the ability to use that. You got a place to put your leads. Now, what do you do to follow up with them automatically? We're going to recommend that you use a very specific framework here because we're building a system, all right? And email automation is what's going to get you to be consistent when your life gets busy. You're not spamming, you're not doing anything silly, you're just following up professionally. Every lead gets the same framework, a 0-day delivery on whatever we're giving them, which we'll get to in a minute, with a confirmation. Then 2 days later, they get value. 4 days later, they get trust. 7 days later, they get an invitation to book an appointment. It's 3 to 4 steps, just like that, right? We do 027 or we do 0247. That's enough to start. Now, MailChimp is going to be your most common way to get started because a lot of people know that. Constant Contact is also there. But MailerLite is super simple. And that's something that we can use because it's very intuitive. So today in our course, we're going to work with MailerLite. We'll show you how to work with that in a moment. So right now, I want to congratulate you because you have the beginnings of an AI simple stack you can use to quickly draft emails, text messages, get lead magnets going, create a lead inbox, and nurture the leads to convert them into sales. In the next module, we'll talk about the 3 places realtors get leads, which you'll see here, and we'll connect this to income. Let me save you from the biggest trap in AI and real estate: aimless tool collecting. Most agents don't lose because they lack tools. They lose because they don't have the right system. In the last module, I gave you the tools, and in this module, I'm giving you the map. There are only really 3 places where real estate agents get leads, and AI just helps you manage those places and leads way faster. Now, here's the promise. By the end of this module, you know exactly what to do next, what to ignore, and how to use those tools at the beginner level. So we're talking about leads. And while referrals and your sphere of influence are sources of business and should be nurtured, we're focusing on pure leads now, people that you do not know. Every lead you've ever gotten fits into one of these 3 buckets. All right. Content. People discover you and start trusting you. Inbound, they raise their hand, they call, click, or book. And outbound, you follow up so nothing dies and you create appointments. And here's the key. These 3 buckets work together. Content creates attention. Inbound captures demand. And outbound converts interest into appointments. So it's create, capture, and convert. Now that we know how it works, all we need to do is create, capture, and convert. And before I show you any tools, I need you to adopt one rule, because this rule is what separates agents who win from agents who wonder why leads don't work. In 2026, your speed to lead standard in the attention economy needs to be 3 minutes. Period. Yes, I know it used to be 5, but now it's 3. I am very sorry. I don't make the rules, okay? There are just too many world forces fighting for your lead's attention and pocketbook. Let's be honest. So everything we build today, content, inbound, outbound, exists to support this single rule. Respond fast. If a lead comes in and you respond within 3 minutes, you are in the game. If you respond later, you're playing catch up. Therefore, everything we're building supports this one rule. I cannot say it enough. So if you respond fast, you're good. Or if you have a system that responds for you, even better. Fast beats fancy. Now, how are we going to do this? We have a system here. Bucket 1, content, once again. So the way we're going to do this is with your phone, plus a couple of tools. You're a real estate professional, not a professional content creator. Your job is not to go viral, okay? Your job is to create content that creates calls, DMs, and bookings. And since you're not Mr. Beast, I got great news for you. You don't need a camera crew. All you need is a phone and a repeatable process, okay? Low friction. So here's the simplest stack on earth. Your phone to record, CapCut to clean it up and add captions, Canva for thumbnails and clean visuals. And then if you want, you can go faceless or use templates with Google Vids, which I showed you earlier. That's it. 4 tools max, and then you can take it and distribute it. So here's what I want you doing weekly. Record one helpful video on your phone. Use CapCut to cut the pauses and add captions. Use Canva to make a thumbnail or simple graphic, and then post it with one CTA. A CTA is a call to action. It can be something like, get your new construction guide or book a call, right? You're not trying to be everywhere, you're trying to be consistent. Now let's talk about what happens when your content works and people reach out to you. So 5 years ago, I created this YouTube channel for individuals that are looking to relocate. And as you can see, this series of videos, just over a dozen videos, had thousands of views. And all I did was add this little link you can kind of see up there. I added a simple form that people could use to fill out a short survey and contact me. And I turned this into something short of $100,000 just from this small series of videos. Okay, just a dozen videos. People would contact me based on this information because they see that I know about the area, and they would make an appointment. We would do the consultation, and then we would start working together. So some of the best videos were top 5 places, most affordable places. As you can see, 11,000 views. Top 5 suburbs. Like these are things that people are curious about. And some of these things like luxury elevator townhomes, high-end new construction, like these are things that people are looking up. And if you're the resource, if you're the guide, they're going to reach out to you as the expert. Okay, we'll talk more about that later. But it's really that simple. And all I did was have a Google form and Calendly for free to set this up so that people could contact me. It's that easy. And I turned it into serious revenue, tens of thousands of dollars. And I want you to do exactly what I'm talking about here. Okay? These are inbound leads. They're the best because they're raising their hand. They call, they click, they book. Only job for you with inbound is don't let them slip. This is where agents miss out on money because they're busy, right? The way we make the beginner inbound process simple is by sticking to Calendly only, because the fastest way to increase conversions is to remove back and forth scheduling. That's why Calendly works so well. And again, it's another free tool. And Calendly has AI enhancements that you can use to make that process even easier. Calendly is very familiar. I'm not going to really get into that. People know what Calendly does. And yes, Calendly can ask a few questions too, right? If somebody's interested, let them go to a link and then they can book it in 10 seconds. But make sure if you do include questions, just keep it short. Now, if you want to go a little bit further, you can add Tally plus Calendly. And if you want to do that, that's fine. But again, we're beginner level, so we're not going to really get into that. I can just tell you that is an option. But if you wanted to use Tally, you would have Tally collect the information you need, like timeline, price range, address, and then it sends them to Calendly to book. So even if they don't book, you still capture the lead. That's huge. But again, we're keeping it super easy. So Calendly only for now. All right. Now we've created attention with content. We've captured demand with inbound. Next is the part that creates the money. The follow-up. Outbound follow-up. All right. So for our purposes, outbound is not cold calling strangers all day. Outbound is simply consistent follow-up. Most leads aren't ready today. They're ready after they trust you. And this is where agents drop the ball because life happens, okay? Now, I know how much people love text messages and how great the open rates and read rates are and all of that for text messages. But sending text messages as a business is a very different process now. And our goal is to plug in tools to get you rolling with speed and consistently, preferably within the next week. Therefore, your simplest outbound engine will be email nurture. You can add text messages later. For now, you just need to get started, okay? So you need to pick one, MailerLite or MailChimp. In our course today, I'll be using MailerLite. You just need a basic sequence so every lead gets touched automatically. At minimum, the sequence should contain the following. Day 0, deliver the workbook, the guide, the checklist, the tips, whatever it is. Day 2, provide value of some sort, a tip, a resource, something like that. Don't pitch anything. And then day 5, check in. Just a friendly hello and an invitation to connect with them. Consistency beats complexity. Don't worry, I'll give you all the email scripts later. If you download the workbook that is accompanying this course, everything is in there, okay? Now, we want to enhance this with Loom. Loom, what a powerful tool. Now, Loom allows you to do a certain number of videos for free. When you start rocking and rolling, you're going to want to upgrade here. Loom is one of my favorite outbound tools because it lets you be human and fast. So a 45-second personalized video follow-up can beat a long email all day. That's just the truth, right? And that kind of works in the same way as a text message, but probably better for some people. So you're going to use Loom to boost your emails. Now, Loom AI currently features many of the following things, including auto titles. So when you record the video, they can have a customized video title automatically generated based on the context from the video script. Loom will read that with the AI. All right. It has auto summaries. A summary is automatically generated after recording and displayed in the description box below your video. Auto chapters. Now, your video should be pretty quick. Chapters won't really be a thing, but you can get automated chapters based on the topics discussed in your video, depending on how long the video is. I think the free plan allows you to do up to 5 minutes. You can break your videos up into sections so viewers can navigate them. Also, workflows. Transform your video into a text document or message, right? You can have auto calls to action. A custom call to action button based on the web page you recorded on is automatically created after recording so your audience knows where to go next. You always want to have a next step, right? Filler word removal. Automatically trim out ums, ahs, rambles, and repeats from your videos, audio, and transcript so you can sound more polished. So if you're someone that adds a lot of those things to your speech, you can cut that stuff out with AI. There's also silence removal. Extended moments of silence are automatically trimmed out of your video, saving you time editing. There's also edit by transcript. Trim your video by selecting the word or sentence you would like to remove in your transcript. And here's a great one, text overlays, right? Text, arrows, boxes. You can add all this stuff to your videos and highlight specific elements effectively. And finally, pricing. I see now you can record up to 25 videos, which is even better. And you can have 18% higher viewer engagement. That's pretty serious, okay? Like we need to just have these tools to step things up, all right? You owe that to yourself. And again, you can do a lot with the free version. So now you got your lead inbox, which we talked about earlier with Notion. All right. It's nothing complex. It's just a simple place where every lead has a next step. Name, source, status, next follow-up date. That's it. Because if you don't track follow-up, you don't have follow-up. Okay. This is non-negotiable. No lead without a next step. And for me, I'm recommending Notion as the bridge between inbound and outbound. It's going to prevent lead loss due to forgetfulness. Here's a perfect example. Somebody DMs you and they say, hey, we might sell in the spring, but it's January or February. That lead is not ready today, but it's still valuable, right? So you put them in Notion, you set the status as nurture, then you set a follow-up date for 2 weeks, and then put spring timeline in the notes, and they want a net sheet. Cool, now you don't lose them, all right? So to recap, here's the minimum viable system you're building. Content is your phone plus CapCut plus Canva. That's going to help you start conversations. Inbound is going to be Calendly, all right? Coming from your lead funnel. Outbound is going to be MailerLite or MailChimp plus Loom and your lead inbox. And all supports one rule, 3-minute speed to lead. If you do this, you're already ahead of most agents who are still guessing. It's really that simple. Now that you have the map, the next module, we're going to go deep into content that produces calls. I'm going to give you very specific types of content that convert and a simple batching plan so you can do it in as little as 2 hours a week.
Build your data moat. Use local insights and proprietary feedback loops. Keep human checks in every workflow. Always validate, always verify. Position yourself not just as an agent, but as a consultant, a translator, a trusted advisor. Be the one who uses AI like a scalpel, not like a shotgun.
This module is for you because remember, you're not trying to go viral, you're trying to close escrow, okay? So I'm about to show you the 3 highest converting types of real estate content, how to create it with your phone in a way that feels easy, and how to batch it in as little as 2 hours per week. First, I'm going to give you one scoreboard for your content. Does it create calls, DMs, or bookings? Likes are nice, views are cool, but if content doesn't produce conversations, it's entertainment, okay? So from now on, your content has one job: start conversations with people who need an agent. There are 3 content types that are consistently converting well in real estate, especially for beginners. Type 1 is relocation moving content. This is high intent, what I showed you earlier with my YouTube channel from 5 years ago. People search for it. It brings inbound leads. Those people literally contacted me. I followed up with them. We worked together. I made money. Providing content that people search for is the fastest and cheapest path to profit in any industry today. My clients are seeing huge success right now with some of our more advanced AI strategies to show up in AEO search results. If you've ever searched for something recently and saw a detailed summary at the top, one that answers your question directly without you having to click a link, that's an AI generated result. AEO is the practice of optimizing your content so that these AI answer engines choose your information to build that summary and cite you as a source. Imagine if you were in that box. Wow. I'll stop here because that's a bit past an AI beginner topic, but it's something to think about, okay? Second type of content is seller trust content. This builds credibility. It makes sellers feel safe in choosing you. And then the third type is niche plus market content. Think neighborhoods, condos, first-time home buyers, investors, new construction, whatever lane you want to be in, all right? Again, relocation, seller trust, or niche/market. Pick one lane to start, not 5, 1. And just do that for 30 days because consistency beats complexity. Now here's your simple weekly system. Phone plus CapCut plus Canva. We discussed this before. You don't need a fancy camera. Your phone is enough. What makes a difference is you and what you say and how consistent you are. You edit in CapCut. That's how you make this look professional. You can use other softwares if you want. I'm recommending CapCut today. You can do it without having to be a video editor. Cut dead space, add captions, export, done. Lastly, use Canva for your thumbnails and simple graphics. You can make a title card, clean edits. It's not about being fancy. It's about being clear. All right. And so now we're going to talk about the one video equals many assets method, which you see here, the multiplier effect. The whole point of using AI products is to save more time to make more money to spend however you wish, like our lady on the beach at the beginning. So we're not trying to turn you into a content creator because you don't need another job. If making videos takes too long, you get overwhelmed and quit, and the whole operation is pointless. So this is how you stay consistent without getting burnt out. Okay? Now you create one helpful long video and you turn it into 3 shorts and reels. That means you can post from the YouTube shorts and Instagram reels. 1 carousel or graphic post. 1 email, which you create a newsletter with. And then 1 story with a CTA, call to action. That is 6 pieces of content. One becomes many. That's called leverage. Every single piece points to your exact same CTA, call to action. That's the key. By now, I'm sure you're thinking, okay, buddy, all right. But what do I say on camera? If you're stuck on what to say, use one of these 3 structures. Problem, fix, next step. Mistake, why it matters, what to do. Or checklist, example, next step. I'm going to give you 3 examples here. So, problem, fix, next step. And don't worry, you don't have to screenshot these or anything like that. They'll be in the workbook, okay? It's all free. Just click the button to download from the link in the description, all right? All good. So, first one, listing, sitting, no offers. So this is a script that you can use. Edit it to reflect your style and tone. As always, use ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever you like, maybe Claude if you're more advanced. Quick truth, the number one reason a listing sits isn't the market, it's usually positioning. Here's the fix. Price for attention, then use your first 7 days to create urgency with tight photos, clean showing windows, and a clear offer, deadline strategy when it makes sense. All right? You can say that right to camera, post that in all the places. Next one is the mistake, why it matters, what to do instead. Same deal. Overpricing to test the market. And again, you're going to have this in your newsletter. You're going to have this in shorts. I would expand on it for the long video, and then I would use a shorter version like this for the shorts and the reels, right? Checklist, same thing. These are the ways that you get in front of people and provide value extremely fast and give them something that makes you think, John, Jane, that was good. I'll save that for later. I'll share that with someone, right? That's something that you want to be able to hold on to and reference later, and maybe they'll contact you, okay? So you'll get these in the workbook, don't worry. And those are just 3 examples. You'll get all of them, plus another 10 additional scripts, okay, inside the free workbook we made for this course. That way you can just copy, paste, and record if you want to. I would make a few changes, but you can do it that way if you want. Again, you can do this in 2 hours a week. The first hour is pick 2 topics, do your outline, record them both. Second hour, edit those 2 long videos and cut them into 6 shorts. Make 2 thumbnails in Canva, schedule your post. That's the whole thing. Just 2 hours per week. You can record for 60 minutes and then you edit. Repurpose that 60 minutes. If you can consistently do that for 30 days, you will be shocked at what happens. I mean, shocked. You know, once upon a time, I was at lunch in Arlington, Virginia with one of my favorite clients, lovely young lady. We were just catching up, having a nice chat, eating lunch and everything. And we wrapped up. After a while, we finished and we were getting up to leave. And as I was putting my jacket on, the couple across the aisle called out to me. And it was kind of off, it was like, what? And they said, hey, oh my God, we just watched your video last night. We were going to reach out to you today. I said, what? I'm going to be honest with you. I was shocked, okay? Because you just put the information out there. Nobody says anything to you when you upload, right? And then hundreds, maybe even thousands of people, as I showed you in the example, watch it. And then they're watching you give them guidance. This is the power that you get to unlock now at light speed with the assistance of AI. And that's what I want for you, okay? And remember, if you're not ready to be on camera or you want faster production, Google Vids can help you go faceless with templates. These can work as well, but because we want you to become the local authority, you should make these a secondary option if you use them at all. Some cases you can apply them for are like explainer videos, real simple stuff, quick slideshows. If you want to do that AI avatar thing, you can do that. The fast template based content. So you have some options there. Okay. But I would not make that my primary method to reach out to people. And I just want to show you a little bit of CapCut real quick. So what I would do is, so this is the home page. As you can see, they're pushing AI like nobody's business. So AI this, AI that. Now, the only thing you want to do is, so I have a video. And you can do this from your phone. They prefer that you do it from your phone so they can get all the metadata and tracking and all that stuff on you. All right. I don't use it on my phone. I'm not a full-time real estate agent anymore. So this is not something that I am looking to do with them. So I don't have it on my phone, but you can absolutely upload it using your phone because you recorded it on your phone. And honestly, it'll work better on your phone. It works very slow if you do it from a desktop. Nobody talks about that. As you can see, the wheel is already spinning. Okay. So they'll treat you a lot better if you do it through the app. But for the purposes here, look at that, handling large files on the desktop. They want you to download at least let me get into your computer. It says, come on, man, just don't just log into a website. Let me get into your computer. Exactly. Okay. So the media wasn't uploaded for some reason. I don't have enough storage space. So if I got rid of all of these, then I could upload it. And then once I did that, I could go to captions, right? I can do auto captions. I can add captions manually, or I can upload a file with captions. I can drop some text on there, right? You have all these text options, and you can just slide those onto the timeline here on the video, right? You can get a transcript. You can add some elements, little fun things, photos and AI avatars, stuff that you see on TikTok, stickers, like and subscribe. You can do all these things from inside of here, okay? But the first step is to log in and then upload the media, and then you start working on it. They have templates. They have some special pics and things you can use. Don't go too fancy. All right. Remember, consistency is the key. Okay. So that is CapCut. We're going to move on now. All right. So we've covered the 2 hours, and I want to make sure that you understand that content is step one. And while that's a great first step, content alone won't close deals. The agent who wins is the agent who follows up. So in the next module, I'm going to show you an easy way to start following up so that your leads don't die because you got too busy. And if you haven't grabbed the workbook yet, it's at the link in the top of the description. It has all the scripts, tools, steps laid out for you. That's pretty much the only thing that you need right now, and it's absolutely free. So listen, most leads don't die because you're a bad agent. They die because the follow-up was slow, inconsistent, or never happened. You can't have the best content, the best branding, the best everything, but don't have fast follow-up and consistency, because if you still do that, you're going to be the agent that loses. Okay? So I'm about to give you a follow-up system that's simple, cheap, and realistic for solo agents. No complex tech, no 14-day masterpiece you never finish. Just a system that keeps leads alive. All right? Before we go any further, we must remember the non-negotiable 3-minute speed to lead rule. If you respond within 3 minutes, you're early. If you respond later, you're competing. And by the way, people are freaking amazed when you do this. It makes me laugh just thinking about the beginning of every conversation I've had when I call someone and say, hey, I just got your message about moving to Maryland. They're like, oh, yeah. Thank you for getting back to me so quickly. I'm telling you, try it for yourself. It's magic. Okay? So if you've committed to mastering follow-up to multiply your business, kudos to you. Now here's the truth. You won't always be available. Showings happen. Life happens. It is what it is. Your system needs a plan B such that if you can't respond personally within 3 minutes, something still happens. But before we get to plan B, we need to get clear on the highest causes of death for sales leads. Number 1, they never got an immediate response. 2, they didn't get guided to a next step like booking an appointment. Or no one tracked the follow-up, so it just faded. All right? So we're going to use a beginner system to prevent all 3 of those outcomes, and it will provide immediate acknowledgement, one clear next step, and simple tracking. So it's acknowledge, guide, track. Your CTA needs a capture path. Now this is important because most beginners get stuck here. We keep talking about add a CTA in your marketing, but what nobody explains is a CTA is not magic by itself. A CTA needs a simple path behind it to capture the lead and follow up. So here's the beginner's version of a lead magnet funnel. It's just these 3 steps right here. Number 1, your CTA is the content. This is what you say in a video or post. You want the seller guide, you want the checklist, you want the buyer guide, you want the new home hot sheet. Click the link and I'll send it to you. Step 2 is the trade. Right? The opt-in page, this is where they land, and it's just a page that asks for a name and an email. Sometimes phone, but we're keeping it simple and obvious. Honestly, statistics show that conversions go down when you make phone required. Make it optional, see if you can get it. All right, so the person trades their email to get your item, the ethical bribe. Step 3 is the thank you page. This is what they see after they opt in. A thank you page is this confirmation that says, check your email, it's on the way. And ideally has a button that says, download the guide here. So the CTA isn't going to go DM me, right? The CTA is click the link, opt in, deliver the guide. Now we can follow up, because DM me is just starting a benign conversation. It isn't going to get you anywhere, right? You want to get them into your funnel. So you have to get their information so that they can go into your funnel. Now, if you want the simplest setup, MailerLite or MailChimp can literally create the opt-in page for you. You make a landing page, add the form, and it automatically captures the email, sends email number 1 immediately, and you redirect it to a thank you page. Now, I'm on the MailerLite website now. I just made a free account. As you can see, free trial expires in a few days. You don't need a website. You don't need coding. You just need the page and the form. Either way, the goal is simple. Lead opts in, gets the guide, you follow up. And here's the rule now. The lead magnet is in 2 places. The thank you page, which is instant, and the first email so they can get it later. All right. So you would come over here. Go to sites. Look at that. Create your first landing page. Boom. And you can do landing pages and websites in this area. And we're just going to name it number 1, landing page. And I made this list. So we have a new home hot sheet. All right, new home buyer leads. Got it. Let's add that group. Now you can have AI build it, or you can create it from scratch, or you can select from one of these templates right here. Super, super easy. Now check this out. Hey, you want the thing? Here's the thing. Hi, it's me. This is all the stuff that I do. You want the guide, the handbook, etc. This is the concept right here. You can select something like this, put your information in here. I would steer away from having, these are distractors, okay? So I would remove these 3 buttons and just get straight to, hey, it's me. And here's the thing I told you that you were going to get. So when they come here, they'll see you smiling. Hey, I know you want the guide, the checklist. Here it is. Here's the hot sheet. Here's a little description of the hot sheet, and then download the hot sheet. You can set it so that this is a dollar amount or free. Obviously, you will want to make it free. And you select template, and then you start to edit. And that is enough to get you in the game. All right, so that'll get you started. So now back to your minimum viable follow-up system. Again, it's email first. I want you to think of follow-up in levels, okay? Level 1, minimum viable follow-up. This is what we'll be doing today. This is what we've been talking about. Level 2 is strong nurture. You grow into this as you develop the habit later, all right? And this will be in the notes. If you haven't already, please go to the link at the top of the description and download your course workbook, okay? You need that to keep you on track and follow along here, to take notes, make sure that you're doing everything you're supposed to do to bring AI into your business this week. So level 2 is a strong nurture. You grow into this as you develop the habit later. Level 3, that's a little bit later. I think we'll get into advanced texting, automation, stuff like that. That's optional, okay? Most agents try to build level 3 first and end up building nothing. So we're starting with level 1. Now, remember, our level 1 sequence is 3 touches. That's it. The moment they opt in, your first email goes out. That's it. Touch number 1 happens day 0, right? They click, they get that guide within 3 minutes max. There's a follow-up. There's you with the confirmation email. There's something like that. Confirming you got their message, deliver the thing they asked for, checklist, guide, etc. And then you ask one question, you give them the next step. Day 2 happens on day 2. This is where you provide one helpful resource, ask one question. And then day 5, this is where you do a friendly check-in, offer the next step again. This works because it's consistent and it doesn't require you to be a tech expert rather. Again, day 0 is the day the lead comes in. Day 2 is 48 hours later. Day 5 is 5 days later. And if it lands on a weekend, send it the next business day. If the email platform you choose lets you add send only during business hours, for example, between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. So it doesn't fire off at like 2 a.m., okay? Oh, by the way, here's one follow-up hack. Ask one simple question. Questions create replies. Replies create conversations. Conversations create appointments. So here's a few good sample questions that you could use. What time are you working with? What's your timeline? When are you thinking about moving? Are you planning to buy first or sell first? What's most important to you in this move? Now comes the part that nobody wants to do, but everybody needs, which is the tracking. So again, we're going to go back to your CRM, your free CRM that we gave you from Notion. By the way, the link for that is in the handbook. So you got to get your course handbook, your workbook. Okay. If you're not going to use Notion, you use Google Forms and Sheets. Just, you need to track it some kind of way. You can use Google Sheets. If there isn't some type of tracking, this isn't going to work. Now, every lead must have a next touch date when you put them in the system. If there's no next touch date, the lead is basically dead. But essentially, all you need is MailerLite plus Loom. To automate level 1, you only need those two things. When you get a high intent lead and you want to stand out, you send them a 45-second Loom. You don't need to automate everything, just automate consistency. They look serious, send them a Loom. It feels personal and it's fast. So you got all your tools here. You got your CRM set up, you have your mail system, you have Loom, and you know how to do content. So your email first follow-up is enough to get started and get results. For now, your homework is simple. Adopt the 3-minute rule, set up level 1 follow-up, track your leads in one inbox. So now I want to get serious for a minute and I want to talk about the cost of being busy. Before I do that, let's talk about the fastest way to lose business, not answering the phone. That's what makes real estate different than any other business today. At some point, a person will want something bad enough to call you and they expect you to answer. And if you don't meet their expectations, it's a real problem, right? But here's the thing. If you're busy doing business, you're going to miss calls. And it's not because you don't care. It's because you're in showings, you're driving, you're with clients, you're living life, right? So in this module, I'm going to show you how an AI front desk can solve that problem in real life. And by the end, you'll know what it sounds like, what it captures, how it books appointments, and how it keeps you aligned with the 3-minute speed to lead rule, even when you're busy. Remember, 3-minute speed to lead, that's it, period. I can't say it enough. The reason most agents lose leads isn't marketing, it's follow-up speed. So the question becomes, how are you supposed to respond in 3 minutes when you're literally unavailable? We got to answer that. Missed call equals missed opportunity. Let's keep it simple. When a motivated seller calls and no one answers, one of two things happens. That seller calls you, you don't pick up, what do? They call the next agent. Nobody's leaving voicemail now. Or they say, I'll do it later. And then the moment passes. Therefore, answering more calls and responding faster increases your chance of getting conversions. More answered calls equals more conversions. Fast beats fancy. Now, I'm going to play a real demo call so you can hear what this sounds like. Listen for 3 things. It stays calm, like a human. It collects the right information. It guides to a next step, which should be booking an appointment.
Thanks for calling Patrick's office. How can I help you today?
Hey, can I speak to Patrick, please?
Patrick isn't available at the moment, but I'd be happy to help with anything you need. What's going on?
Yeah, I was calling because I wanted to talk to him about selling my house.
Got it? You're looking to sell your house. I can help get things started for you. First, can I grab your first name so I can make a quick note for Patrick?
Yeah, it's going to be John.
Thanks, John. Now, is your home currently occupied or is it vacant?
It's vacant.
Got it, vacant. And what's the street address of the home you're looking to sell?
1000 Rockville Pike.
Thanks. Just to confirm, that's 1000 Rockville Pike, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. And how many bedrooms and bathrooms does the home have?
1 bedroom, 2 baths.
Got it. 1 bedroom and 2 bathrooms. What price are you expecting to list the home for?
$279.
Thanks for that. When are you hoping to get things moving? Are you just exploring or looking to list soon?
Yeah, we want to do it as soon as possible.
Got it. You're ready to move quickly. I see we have your email as davidjohn76352@yahoo.com. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I've worked with Patrick before.
Perfect. Thanks for confirming. Let's go ahead and schedule a quick call with Patrick to go over your goals and next steps. Let me check his availability real quick. One moment. Here are some available times for a call. Today, January 22nd at 11 a.m., 12 p.m., or 1 p.m. Tomorrow, January 23rd at 9 a.m., 12 p.m., or 1 p.m. Do any of these work for you?
Let's go with tomorrow at 1.
You're all set for tomorrow, January 23rd at 1 p.m. Patrick will connect with you then. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
That's it. Enjoy your day.
Thanks, John. You enjoy your day too. Take care.
So here's what you just heard it do. It answered immediately. It acknowledged Patrick wasn't available without losing trust. It captured the caller's name. It asked a qualifying question, asked questions about the property that the seller was intending to liquidate. It asked about a timeline, and it guided towards booking an appointment. That's enough information to prepare a CMA with sample pricing that you can use to provide immediate value to the seller. Listen, without an AI front desk employee, that entire call would have gone to voicemail and died. Because if that call went to voicemail, we know nobody leaves voicemail anymore. Well, that listing's gone forever. And how much would that cost you? I can tell you that in the DC area, the median home price is around $575,000. If you make an agreement with the seller for a 2.5% fee, that's $14,375. A $14,375 missed call. Are you kidding me? Now what you want to say is that's ridiculous. No, sir. They wouldn't just move on and never call again. That money isn't lost. Really? Really? If you want to pretend that in the distraction economy, where everyone and everything is competing for your attention, a stranger that saw your ad, postcard, video, post, reel, sign, etc. is just going to remember to reach out again, then good luck to you, sir or ma'am. If you ask me, it's not a bet I'm willing to make because the solution doesn't cost $14,375. You simply just don't have to miss the call and lose that opportunity anymore. I mean, for less than the cost of a part-time assistant, you can get a full-time AI team that never misses $14,000 commission calls. Now, when I say AI front desk, AI team, I mean they capture lead details, name, goal, timeline. They route calls based on the rules to a team member or you if you're the solo agent. They book appointments on your calendar. You can get separate employees that can make outbound calls. They can call out your leads to your database clients. New leads, when they opt in for that form, within 3 minutes, they can be calling that lead. It can log the leads so you can follow up for consistency. I mean, AI can have a whole team of agents that answer calls 24/7, send text messages to your missed calls, talk to leads on your website, Facebook, Instagram, and more, especially when you can't. Leads feel heard, even at 11 p.m. on a Sunday. So you don't lose money while you're showing homes or sleeping. There's no hiring, no training, no stress. That's the system. 24/7, 365. It's not magic. It's not complicated. It's just consistent coverage. And that's why systems like this work. They're built intentionally. This AI tech can supercharge your business right now, and it's only going to get better. But I'm not telling you to buy stuff today because this course is basics first. So what I want you to walk away with is this awareness. If you're losing leads because you miss calls, if you're not getting back the leads in 3 minutes or less, then the AI front desk is one of the smartest set it up once systems you can add when you're ready to stop gambling on missed opportunities. I mean, $14,000 off one call? Good Lord, how many of those calls will get missed after you start consistently producing content with the tips you're learning in this course? You could easily miss one call a week like that every, what, $56,000? 14,000 times 4? No, never mind. I don't even want to think about it. Oh, geez. Okay, anyway, for right now, just keep it simple. Run the follow-up basics, build the content that creates calls, and deal with the missed opportunities issue when you're ready. In the next module, I'll give you a 7-day quick start plan so you can immediately implement without being overwhelmed. And if you haven't grabbed the workbook yet, it's in the link in the top of the description. That's the only thing you need right now. The moment we've all been waiting for. No, but seriously, if you want to go beyond adding 2 or 3 deals per month to your business and become a highly recognizable name in your market without door knocking or spending thousands on mail per month, this is for you. And it's a lot simpler than you would have imagined. Now, here's the secret. Do more. That's it. That's the path. Do more than everyone else to have more than everyone else. Now, I don't mean hustle harder or any cliche terms. I mean, use this technology to do way more than everyone else. Awareness. That's the game. That's the whole thing. We need to increase your awareness to get you more leads. The only reason you're not selling more homes is because more people don't know who you are. I could build a whole course around this alone, but I'll do my best to go deeper on this subject while still staying at the 101 beginner level. Let's proceed. Now, assuming you already built the framework for the standard path we just discussed in the last 5 modules, now you incorporate advanced techniques. We maintain the principles of content, inbound and outbound, but we max it out. How do we do it? I'm glad you asked. So sticking with the framework, first we need to discuss content. Instead of 2 hours of content per week that allow you to post twice a day, multiply that by 4 or 5. We're talking about at least 5 times a day across all platforms. And before you say people are going to get tired of you if you're posting that often, no. People will not get tired of you if you post valuable content. You know this is true because there are lots of people that you follow that give you information on subjects that you are interested in, who post regularly, and you watch them. So in order for you to do this, it will involve research. Tell Gemini, ChatGPT about this plan, then provide information about your business, even if you're brand new, to help it map out a 30-day content strategy for you. Take the notes from ChatGPT, Gemini, mash them together, take them back to each other, and then pick out the best parts and streamline a plan based on the real estate agent content strategy that will achieve the highest amount of consistent engagement. Just review them all, choose the one you like. Okay? And what do you post? Well, I can help you with that. Again, craft out your plan using AI first. In one of the categories we covered earlier, I'll give you one example. If you live in an area with several new home builders, right? You do the following. Conduct walking tours of each furnished model. Conduct a walking tour of the community. Interview each sales agent. Do a driving tour of the surrounding area of the new home development. Do a video discussing all the different ways you can build and customize each model, all right? Record updates on pricing and availability in the community. Record a how to buy, build your first new home type of video. Record a how to sell your home and buy, build your next home without being homeless video. Record a everything you need to know about moving to fill in the blank community, Rich Farms or what have you, for the community. Record a community A versus community B new home development comparison video. I mean, those 10 alone, if created using the content strategy from earlier in this course, will provide you with 2 full months of content to post 5 times a day. People will assume you sell new homes and ask you for advice about that community and others. And if you add that to what you created with the help of AI, based on what we've been talking about earlier, you can master the awareness game, which again brings us to inbound. When you get 25, 30 plus posts out per week, things will start to look different. Remember, every post has a CTA to grab a free checklist, hot sheet, etc., and get them into your CRM. But you're doing it, you're going to get the hang of it, and then you start to incorporate text message CTA campaigns. And then once you have their phone numbers, then they'll call you, or you'll call them, or vice versa. Yeah, people will call you because you're everywhere now, and that makes you an authority in the space. So if you do this, well, if you go with the operation domination path, I recommend you get that AI front desk system I mentioned earlier. You simply can't afford to miss out on all this new business and have all your efforts go to waste. And you can set up one of the employees to handle the text message conversations once you add those campaigns. Now you're unstoppable. Lastly, as far as the outbound is concerned, I would recommend you sit down with ChatGPT and Gemini and have a long conversation with them about sales funnels. Just follow the same general process from the content section I mentioned a minute ago, but then have them build out the funnel for you. Ask for all the specifics, including the copy, paste scripts for different types of leads, and season them to the taste of your business. And I should point out that the AI front desk system also has an outbound voice agent, if you didn't catch that earlier, which would make your follow-up and your life much easier. So if you follow these steps consistently over a long enough time horizon, there is literally no way you will not become a dominant force in your local real estate market. As a matter of fact, send me a message when you close your first deal. If you made it this far, congratulations. You're obviously serious about doing what it takes to grow your business and make more money. But at the same time, you might feel overwhelmed right now. And that's okay. That's normal, honestly. AI makes you feel like you're behind because there's so many tools and options. So this is your permission slip to stop overthinking. I'm giving you a 7-day plan that's realistic for busy realtors. It's not perfect. It's not fancy. It's just done. So we're building a minimum viable system. That means one content lane, one booking path, one lead inbox, and one simple follow-up system. You can upgrade whenever you like, but right now we're building momentum. Okay? The day one is simple. Choose your lane and lock your tools. Pick one lane, as we discussed earlier: relocation, seller trust, a niche market, and then lock in your tools: your phone, CapCut, Canva, or Google Vids, whatever you like, Calendly, Notion or Google Sheets, MailerLite or MailChimp, and Loom. Stay with this for 30 days. That's how you win. On day 2, you build your inbox booking path. Okay? The goal is to remove friction. Remember, Calendly only. Set up one event, 15-minute consultation. Buyer or seller, just pick one. Okay? If you want to go intermediate, you get into the Tally and the Calendly. All right? Tally has a lot of AI tools, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to qualify them first. But the goal is just to remove friction. Make it easy for someone to raise their hand and book. That's it. I can't say it enough. I know you're like, 3-minute. Yes, you need to have this in your head. 3-minute speed to lead. And booking helps you respond faster, if we're being honest. Day 3, you create your lead inbox, which will assist with outbound tracking. Again, the Notion CRM link is in the workbook. And if you don't want to use that, Google Sheets. Doesn't matter. Name, source, status, next follow-up date. It's all you need. The golden rule is no lead exists without a next step. Day 4, you'll set up your minimum viable follow-up, which we've all agreed will be email first and provide 3 touches. We're keeping it simple. You're going to use MailerLite or MailChimp to set up 3 emails. The first one goes out immediately. That's a confirmation email plus 1 question. 2 days later, 1 helpful tip plus 1 question. 5 days from the first, check in and next step. It's not about being perfect. It's about not disappearing. Day 5, you create content and you repurpose it. You record 1 long video on your phone in your chosen lane, edit it in CapCut or something else if you like, but CapCut is the popular one that people always mention because of its AI functionality. They make a simple thumbnail or graphic in Canva. They repurpose it into 3 shorts, 1 post, and 1 story. 1 video becomes multiple touches. Day 6, you bring in your secret weapon, Loom. When a lead feels warm, meaning they've responded favorably and or expressed interest, send a 45-second Loom. Because when they respond, you have to pull them out of the automated follow-up sequence anyway. That's when the robot steps out and you start to communicate as a human. Human in the loop. Loom is faster than typing a novel and it feels personal. You're going to win because nobody else is doing this. Day 7, that's your review day. This is when you audit your system and ask, did I respond in 3 minutes? Did leads have a next step? Does the booking path work? Did your follow-up system go out, right? Did you post content? Then pick one of these areas to improve, just one, and then work on it. Well, congratulations. If you made it this far, I mean, you're basically about to win. So let me be the first to congratulate you because you're already ahead of most agents. After watching this video, get off YouTube, okay? Get off of YouTube and get into action. That's the secret. You can watch videos all day, but the change happens when you take action. And your very first actions are as follows. Like this video. And subscribe to our channel because we have a lot more to teach real estate agents about AI. Second step, download the workbook. If you haven't already, I'm sure you downloaded it by now. I just have to say it. Okay. Get the workbook. It's got scripts, templates, checklists, just a ton of stuff that you're going to need in order to make this work. And again, get off YouTube and go follow the plan. Don't binge more videos. Don't overthink tools. Just download and implement day one today. Like, subscribe, top link, workbook. Go make it happen.